Hey folks, we're not done yet. Here's what's coming up at 7 o'clock on WCNC Plus.
Communities in shock and grief this morning, 2 days after a tragic golf cart accident claims the life of a local teen. We'll have details coming up.
From fires to storms and other emergencies, help is always needed, and today you can be a part of the response. Coming up, the different ways you can give for Red Cross Giving Day.
With the state budget unfinished, uncertainty hangs over CMS's next school year. What the district is asking for and how you can weigh in today. And we're no strangers to thunderstorms, but is there a specific season where we tend to get more severe weather?
We break it down in today's Weather IQ. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
Well, we're getting close to 7 o'clock, and of course, it's getting busy out there. The one thing that you really need to be mindful of is this crash here. It's I-77 southbound. Once you're approaching Remount Road, that's where we're seeing some of the biggest delays. Here's a live camera look, specifically out towards West Boulevard. That's where you'll have those delays, so allow for plenty of drive time to get to where you need to be. Again, this is I-77 southbound this time. I'll be covering those traffic impacts for you over on WCNC Plus for the next 2 hours. Chris?
Quick shout out to Ben. One of his favorite weather terms is virga. That's what this is. That is precipitation that evaporates before it hits the ground. So look at that over in Lowellsville. Nice little weather IQ to end this. And we're going to see temperatures on the rise. 88 degrees, a record day on Friday. Chance for rain overnight. Then we cool down behind that front. Another cold morning. 37 on Sunday, but then right back to the 70s and 80s, taking over that 7-day.
Love some good burger. Just sounds cool. Join us 7 a.m. over on WCNC Plus streaming. Streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Megan Bragg in for Lisa Washington. Well, we've seen roller coaster weather right now. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy joins us now with your weather impact. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning to you. So it's already fading out, but we were pointing out one of Ben's favorite weather phenomenon. This is virga, where you just see these little down guys. This is what my wife calls it. That literally, this is a precipitation that evaporates before it hits the ground. It actually turns into a little bit of a cloud, and oftentimes the upper level winds can swoosh it down at an angle right there. So we saw classic examples. Also saw some Kelvin Helmholtz clouds. Now I'm getting too nerdy on you, but I'm just letting you know we have a bunch of different clouds out there. What that means is we have a lot of different densities and moisture pockets in the atmosphere. So that means we could have anywhere from the upper level cirrus clouds, getting to your basic meteorology, those cumulus clouds and stratus, where those more cover most of the sky, as you're seeing right here. That means each hour is going to look different. So now you know. Okay, I'm done with the weather IQ stuff. Let's get to the forecast. 41 degrees. The cloud cover has actually insulated us. Okay, I'm still doing it. And that's why we're a little bit warmer right here in Charlotte. You also have the urban heat island, 36 around Hickory, and then 35 here in Monroe. And a quick weather stat, this is actually the second warmest March on record through 24 days. And we are heading in the right direction with a record high yet again this coming Friday. We're chasing that #1 spot. So if you thought March has been warm, yep, it is record breaking, likely finishing in the top 5. Today's going to be about a 10-degree upgrade, 57 yesterday, bumping at 10 to 67 today, and we can do even better than that because we're going to see temperatures eventually reach the upper 80s, near 90 degrees for the 4th time this March. So 67 degrees, as I mentioned, 65 for you in Salisbury. To get there, you're going to have some sunnier hours, you're going to have some cloudier hours, but all in all, it balances out to be a fantastic day. But our rain chances are taking a big old break. This is bad for our drought status, which is already at a severe to extreme. That means some areas are even going to get deeper into the extreme. And once you get to exceptional, that's the worst case scenario. So I'm hoping that we don't reach that. But I also want to give one quick shout out to the group of kids that I got to meet yesterday. This is Shamrock Gardens Elementary. Talk about weather IQ, some of the best questions I've ever had at my career doing these school talks. And I've done dozens to about 100 of these. And what a group of kids. As you can see across the board, this is a delightful start to the day, so enjoy it. But going forward, we're going to see a big uptick in our temperatures. Check it out for our 7-day forecast. 88 degrees on Friday. That's going to smash the record by 3 degrees. So it depends on what you like. If you like sun and clouds in the upper 70s to 80 degrees, this is your favorite day. If you like it hot, this is going to be your pick. Probably not going to be picking Saturday because we're seeing another swing by almost 30 degrees. Typically when a cold front moves through, the coldest day is the next day. The coldest morning is after that. So that's why we're down to 37 degrees on Sunday, but this is a brief cool down. That's typically what happens this time of year. 70s, 80s, even back in the upper 80s, the middle of next week, and that one lone rain chance by the back end next Friday. All right, let's get over to Majestic, see how we're starting off the 7 o'clock hour traffic-wise.
Good morning, everyone. Let's get to it. This could be I-77 right now. You can see those lanes. They are moving slow as we're following an accident right there. This is mile marker 9. You can see lots of brake lights that are ongoing, really starting to get jam-packed. So if you take I-77 southbound, it's a little problematic right now. Let me show you here on my map. It's going to be right here southbound. We're saying stop and go traffic as you're approaching Remount Road, backed up to about Moorhead Street, West Boulevard, that area specifically. In addition to that, we have other things that are ongoing. Now we're heading into that 7 o'clock hour, so things are getting quite busy. This one here takes you out to Gaston County. This is I-85. This is also northbound lanes at Cox Road, so that's exit 21 to 20 where we are seeing some delays. And this one here is our newest problem. I-485, this is the inner loop at South Boulevard. It's backed up to Pineville Matthews Road. So make sure you are ready and prepared and stick with us. We'll be covering all your traffic impacts through 9 o'clock this morning. Guys.
Morning, folks in Mooresville are grieving the loss of a teenager who died in a golf cart accident earlier this week.
WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is live at ATH here in Lake Norman, where the young girl is being remembered and families are holding their loved ones a little closer this morning. Good morning, Richard.
Yeah, good morning to you, Megan. Good morning, Ben. Good Wednesday morning, everyone. We can tell you at the school where this young lady attended is actually going to have grief counselors on hand. And here at the cheerleading and dance organization that she was a part of, they're also remembering her for someone who was a shining bright light in this community. It's a community in Mooresville here that is still in shock after that accident claimed the life of that teen. Police say the crash happened Monday evening around 5:15 at the intersection of Swamp Rose Drive and Gold Star Lane, involving a golf cart and several juveniles. Julia Rooney, a student at Woodland Heights Middle School and member of ATA Cheer here in Lake Norman, was the victim. Rooney critically injured and later passed away. Authorities have not released further details as the investigation into the crash remains ongoing. They do say their thoughts are with the families affected during this difficult time. The loss is being felt deeply across the community, where Julia is remembered as someone who made a meaningful impact on those around her. It's a heartbreaking loss for her family, friends, and neighbors.
I saw her a couple of times. She was like on the neighborhood on that golf cart with a friend of her almost every afternoon, and it's like super sad.
I never really would have thought anything like that would have happened.
As a parent, I cannot even imagine what they're going through right now. Just be in constant supervision with our young kids.
Yeah, and again, as we say, that the school district is saying during times like these, we know that grief looks different from everywhere. Their priority is making sure that students and staff feel supported as they begin the process to deal with this. They say they will have those additional resources available at her school today. And of course, our thoughts and prayers go out to her family and friends and everyone involved as well. When we get more information, of course, we'll provide it to you here and all of our platforms. Right now, we are in Mooresville. This is Richard Devane. Send it back to you.
Today, the man accused in a deadly stabbing in southeast Charlotte is set to face a judge. Police say this man right here, Drazan Sinanovich, is charged with first-degree murder in the death of Savo Sinanovich.
It happened Tuesday at a home near Sardis Road North and Monroe Road. A neighbor says a couple and their 3 adult children lived at the home. A man accused in a deadly hit and run will remain behind bars. Just yesterday, we told you Thomas Haynes was charged with second-degree murder in the crash that killed 23-year-old Sophie Kippel and left 2 others hurt. Haynes appeared in court for the first time Tuesday. Prosecutors arguing the crash was caused by a series of reckless choices behind the wheel. Haynes is accused of running a stop sign and crashing into the other vehicle and then leaving the scene. He's due back in court on April 15th. Well, for those planning to attend today's special meeting on the I-77 South Express Lane project, it's been canceled. The expansion plan has sparked controversy over its potential impact to historically Black communities, specifically in West Charlotte. Right now, we're working to find out if it's going to be rescheduled. When we do know more, we'll be sure to pass it along.
Uncertainty continues this morning with CMS's budget for next school year. District officials say teacher pay remains a top priority, and they are asking for a 5% increase. They say it really comes down to making sure students are getting a good education.
We cannot expect teachers to be fully focused on instruction if they're worried about whether they have enough money to live. If our goal is stability in schools and long-term gains in student achievement, we must ensure that teachers have the financial security and support they need. Investing in our people isn't just the right thing to do, it's the most impactful thing that we can do for students.
And here's a breakdown. CMS officials recommending a budget of more than $2 billion for next year. Nearly $700 million of it comes from the county. The CMS board still needs to approve the budget before county commissioners adopt it come June. In just a few hours, CMS Deputy Superintendent Dr. Melissa Balknight will update families on program choice, school boundaries, and long-term district planning. You can weigh in at tonight's Superintendent's Parent Family Advisory Council meeting. That starts at 5:30 at E.E. Waddell High.
New this morning, a former Anson County youth basketball coach previously accused of human trafficking has pleaded guilty to a lesser charge. Damasio Birch pleaded guilty to 1 count of statutory sex offense with a child 15 or younger. As part of the agreement, prosecutors dismissed charges of human trafficking of a child and multiple counts of indecent liberties with a child. Birch was sentenced to 180 to 276 months behind bars. A positive update in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. NCDOT says it's set to open US 64 this weekend. That's ahead of schedule. The route into Batcave, Chimney Rock, and surrounding communities was left devastated by Helene. 64 has been restricted to local traffic only as repairs were underway. Engineers anticipate having the full road open to traffic by Memorial Day. Well, there's new movement this morning to end the Homeland Security shutdown, but the deal is far from done. Why frustrations on both sides could stall everything next. Time now 7:12. There is movement this morning to end the Department of Homeland Security shutdown, but roadblocks are still ahead, with some lawmakers in both parties voicing frustrations. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest as frustrated travelers and unpaid TSA officers are left suffering the consequences.
This morning, hope to halt the insanity at crowded airports across the country.
It is very overwhelming right now.
As President Trump signals he's considering a Senate Republican plan to fund the Department of Homeland Security and restore TSA worker pay.
We're going to take a good hard look at it. I want to support Republicans.
The two-step proposal would fund all of DHS except for immigration enforcement under ICE, which Democrats are refusing to put more money into without major reforms. They have repeatedly sought to fund TSA and other agencies while negotiations continue.
Republicans have rejected it every time. I think now they may be open to it.
In step two, according to 4 sources familiar with negotiations, Republicans want to fully fund ICE through a separate reconciliation bill that doesn't require votes from Democrats, while also trying to pass limited parts of the Save America Act elections bill that President Trump has made his top priority, previously telling GOP lawmakers not to back anything that doesn't include it.
Don't make any deal on anything unless you include voter ID.
The potential shift comes amid mounting pressure from frustrated travelers, with ICE agents now tasked with helping to move security lines at some of the nation's busiest airports.
We can just pay the TSA workers and get those people to come back to do the job that they've been trained for.
All while questions remain about the ICE reforms Democrats have been holding out for.
Bottom line, reforms must make it into law.
As everyone looks for the end of the line. Leaders from the TSA, FEMA, and the Coast Guard testifying today on Capitol Hill about the impact of this shutdown, while union leaders press lawmakers not to leave for a recess set to begin Monday, not to board planes that TSA workers screened for free, as they put it, without coming to a solution. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Approaching 7:15 right now on WCNC Plus. Delta Airlines temporarily suspending some specialty services for members of Congress. Specialty services include things like airport escorts and red coat services. Delta said members of the Congress will be treated the same as all other passengers. The airline said the suspension is due to a strain on resources because of the government shutdown. Delta's reservation line for members of Congress remains open.
Turning now to new developments in the war with Iran. This morning, Pakistani officials say Iran has received a 15-point U.S. ceasefire proposal. An Egyptian mediator calls it a comprehensive deal to end the conflict.
The problem, though, is Iran says that it's not negotiating with the U.S. right now, saying Americans are only talking among themselves. In the meantime, the 82nd Airborne Division out of Fort Bragg set to deploy to the Middle East in the coming days. Sources with NBC News say the deployment was approved Monday night. Orders are now being issued. The full brigade numbers more than 3,000 troops, but only 1,000 will go.
In just 1 week, NASA takes the big next step to return to the moon. The Artemis II rocket now in position with its crews in quarantine until takeoff on April 1st. Those 4 astronauts will crew the 10-day mission around the moon and back. When they do, make sure to join us right here on WCNC Plus. Our very own Brad Panovich will host minute-by-minute coverage of the launch as NASA returns to the moon. Meantime, NASA just released plans to build a permanent moon base.
That's right. The plan also calls for more frequent missions, initially targeting landings every 6 months. NASA says it will unfold in phases, starting with robotic missions and then building infrastructure and eventually supporting long-term stays there on the moon.
The moon base will not appear overnight. We will invest approximately $20 billion over the next 7 years and build it through dozens of missions, working together with commercial and international partners towards a deliberate and achievable plan.
The first crewed moon missions since the 1970s are set to begin next year. 7:17 right now on WCNC Plus. Live pictures right now at I-77 right there at Uptown. You can see backups there in the southbound lanes, although that is a frequent backup spot. Majestic tracking all of it for us coming up after the break.
Check this out. A fire broke out at a recycling center in Greenville, South Carolina. Look at that dark smoke, which, by the way, for the science of this, whenever you see black smoke like that, a lot of times that means burning rubber and then other different burning plastics will make it that dark as well. Now, it's usually when it's more of a wood burn, it is not as deep as that. And there also could be a chemical burn happening there. So fire at the Sunoco Recycling Center, so these huge thick clouds billowing out. Multiple fire departments and other agencies were sent to the scene, and no information about how the fire started, but that's how easily that these can fire up. And fire officials say the air quality in the area is fine now, but oftentimes you can have some code red air qualities after events like this. And the road in front of the recycling center was shut down in both directions as crews worked to put out the flames. Now, this is at a recycling center, but just letting you know, welcome to wildfire season. So this time of the year is the windiest, and when you have a drought, that just feeds into it. And sometimes it could be the driest, where February is actually one of the drier months. March, not so much, so we have to adjust our rain there. But we have an extreme to a very high fire danger for today. This starts to come down by tomorrow, so just keep that in mind. The winds are much lighter, though, so these are products with that map that you just saw there. So I fill in the counties, but that's by NC State. Me personally, I don't agree with the extremes today, just because the winds are about 10 to 15 miles per hour. That's the max. Usually when you have winds that are getting over 20 to 25, that allows for embers and flames to carry much higher. And then if anything does catch fire, it spreads much more rapidly. But our low humidity is very much here. So dry fuel, no rain, we still have that set up, because the next chance for rain is teeny tiny. We have one that's on Friday night into early Saturday morning. Outside of that, I don't have any rain chances until April. Now, it seems dramatic, but April is starting in the next 7 to 8 days, but it's really about day 10 is the biggest rain chance I have, and you know how much can change before then. So here's what it looks like Friday, heading into your Friday evening. Clouds starting to increase. I think our first chances for rain for us in our 22 counties that we cover here on WCNC Charlotte and WCNC Plus is going to be between about 8 and 10 o'clock, mainly in the mountains and areas north of I-40. This is going to be a line of thunderstorms that's decaying, so likely it's starting to weaken. If this was coming during the evening, I would say that we have a solid shot. Maybe these are some stronger thunderstorms. But as of right now, you might hear a rumble of thunder through the overnight, maybe a quick downpour, but many of us will be sleeping at this point. But I don't think this is going to be enough to really help us out drought-wise. And our current models is called our QPF, or Quantitative Precipitation Forecast. This just shows that the consensus is not a lot of rain. We don't see those blues showing over an inch of rain. We need blues pretty much each and every week to start plucking away at this drought, because I think the next drought monitor is not going to be good. It's going to be worse than what we had last Thursday. Overall, it is going to be a much cooler weekend. So if you love that 83 and 87, hate to say it, lower to the mid 60s, but no worries, right back to the 70s and 80s most of next week. All right, Majestic, what's changed since last time we talked?
Good morning, everyone. Well, it's surely getting busier. It's almost 7:30. That's typically when we really start to see some of our biggest traffic impacts. So let's get straight to it, letting you know of a few important things as you're heading out the door this morning. This is I-77, where we do have some delays really right over by West Boulevard. This is going to be I-77 southbound. So if you typically drive this way, we've been following an accident for you over the last 30 minutes there, which is slowing down that early morning commute. Southbound lanes on I-77, you can see a mix of orange and red, meaning that cars are going to be moving slower than they typically would be. Once you're approaching Remount Road, that's exit 8, Moorhead Street, you'll really start to see those impacts. Seeing those impacts on the southbound lanes, not so much though as you're looking more northbound. Other than that though, we still have a couple of important things. This here's out in Gaston County, I-85 inbound, right at Cox Road. We do have some delays taking us back to New Hope Road. That's exit 20 to 21. And then finally, I do want to touch on this. This is I-485, the inner loop right here at South Boulevard. That's exit 65. We're seeing stop and go traffic through exit 64, so about a 1 mile delay there. But again, cars are just hardly moving at this point. We're going to gather some more details on this, and I'll give you another check on traffic coming up soon.
Sounds good. Majestic, thanks. Today in women's history, we remember author Beverly Cleary, who died on this day back in 2021. She wrote beloved children's books such as Henry Higgins and Beezus and Ramona that capture the everyday lives and struggles of kids in a way that nobody really had before. Cleary's work broke barriers in children's literature, showing that stories about ordinary kids, especially girls, deserve to be told and celebrated. Her legacy continues to share reading and empower young readers making her a real pioneer in women's history. All right, 7:25 right now. Live look over Uptown. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everybody. 41 degrees is what we have right now, so that is warm compared to a 31 in Salisbury. 30 degrees in Albemarle, also matched 30 degrees for you in Boone. So a lot of us are freezing or just above. The only anomaly is here in Mecklenburg County, over around the Concord area, a little bit cooler in the upper 30s. And our highs today are going to be significantly warmer than yesterday by about 10 degrees. And then it depends on what hour you're going to be under. It's either going to be a mostly sunny to a partly sunny day, just forever changing clouds throughout. 50 degrees tonight, so that's a big warm up. Lower 60s on Friday. And I hate to say it, but back to the upper 30s on Sunday. But get ready for some big ups and downs. We're talking about a record day on Friday, drop to the 60s this weekend, and then, hey, no hesitation, back to the 70s and 80s most of next week. Majestic, what's going on this morning?
Good morning, everyone. I want to give you some updates because we are following this crash here. It's going to be on I-77 southbound lanes, really out near West Boulevard. That's where cars are moving quite slowly because of that crash. It's not completely stopped or blocked off at this point, but will it be slower than it typically would be? Absolutely. We'll be following that for you over on WCNC. Plus, here it is. Really, once you're approaching Remount Road, you'll notice those delays. Take it easy out there.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us live on WCNC Plus. I'm Megan Bragg, in for Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson.
Right now, a search is underway for a missing woman in Lincoln County. Take a look at your screen right now. Police say Shenandoah Rogers was last seen in Lincolnton near Hoffman Road last Wednesday. According to her mother, she suffers from several ailments. If you do see her, you're asked to call 911. 2 months after a deadly shooting in East Charlotte, a suspect is now behind bars. 22-year-old Angel Fernandez is charged with first-degree murder in the death of Ledvin Gomez Morales. Investigators say a break in a separate case led to evidence that connected Fernandez to the January 24th shooting. Fernandez is being held without bond and also has an ICE detainer. His next court date is April 14th.
This morning, the search continues for a kidnapping suspect in Chesterfield County. We first brought you this as breaking news yesterday here on WCNC Plus. Take a look at your screen. Deputies say the man you see right here, Kendrick Terry, kidnapped the woman from a home on Cleveland Street in Cheraw. The good news, deputies found that woman and she's now safe. Terry last seen in a black shirt, blue shorts, and a blue do-rag. Investigators believe he's driving this white GMC Terrain. If you see him, call police.
It's Red Cross Giving Day. When emergencies happen, the road ahead can seem daunting. And for 140 years, the American Red Cross has been there to help. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards joins us live right now from the Charlotte Area Red Cross in Dilworth as the organization calls on the community to help them on that mission. Good morning, Destiny.
Good morning. Yeah, giving can be as easy as using your phone to donate money, $10 at minimum, or you can make an appointment to donate blood here at the Red Cross location in Dilworth. Now, the American Red Cross is often one of the first organizations on the ground in the case of emergencies, and today they are asking for your help. Now, there are several ways you can make an impact. Again, monetary donations is one of them. This goes directly toward providing shelter, food, and emergency care for families in crisis. Donating blood is also very easy. The Red Cross has expanded hours this year with appointments available most days of the week. And if you want to make an even bigger impact, again, respond to situations on the ground, you can sign up to volunteer. The Charlotte Area Red Cross shared a story recently online about a volunteer, Jackie Simpson, who was picked up by fire crews to get to a shelter during the ice storm when roads were too dangerous for travel. She was one of several volunteers who stepped up during that time, providing warmth, food, and a safe place for people to stay, including many experiencing homelessness, some arriving in the middle of the night looking for help. And that is really what this Giving Day is all about. We always talk about the Red Cross showing up after a fire has displaced people, or they're on the ground after Hurricane Helene, or they're responding in a host of different emergencies across our area. This is really a chance to take that small step of giving back, whether it's donating some money, whether it's showing up for a blood donation or giving your time. It really just helps the Red Cross do what they do best, which is helping people when they need it most. I'll send it back to you guys live here from Dilworth.
Destiny, thanks, and a reminder, you can scan the QR code there on your screen to learn more about the Giving Day and how you can help out.
A rezoning decision in East Charlotte is drawing pushback from those who live in that area. City Council approved plans for a new affordable housing project behind Calvary Church of the Nazarene on North Sharon Amity Road. Some neighbors say they are worried about how quickly the area is developing as it struggles to attract basic needs.
It will be the eighth development, either new build, some aren't even ready yet, or NOAA's receiving publicly subsidized dollars to support it within a mile radius of this current planned site. Last that I understood, not having success identifying a grocer because the income level of the area is still too low.
The project is expected to bring 125 senior housing units and 11 townhomes. Today, Mecklenburg County leaders will highlight progress and future plans at the State of the County address. Commission Chair Mark Jarrell will speak at 10 a.m. at the Government Center in Charlotte. He's expected to review key accomplishments from the past year and outline challenges and opportunities ahead.
North Carolina Senate Leader Phil Berger is conceding his Republican primary race. Multiple recounts showed he lost his race by just 23 votes to Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page. In a statement, Berger says in part that the voters have spoken and that he remains committed to working with his colleagues in the short legislative session that starts in April. Berger served in the state Senate since 2001. Page issuing a statement saying, quote, "I'm grateful for his years of service to our state, and I thank him for wishing me the best moving forward." 7:35 right now. Moving forward with your weather impact forecast. Here's Chris.
Thanks a lot. Good morning. We have 41 degrees right now around Charlotte, but look at those upper level to mid-level clouds. Those are going to be out and about throughout today. As I've been mentioning, it's a changing sky type of scenario. At times you see more blue sky, and at times you're seeing more clouds as we have right over Charlotte Motor Speedway. Boy, are we looking at a cold morning. 32 degrees in Morganton, 37 for you in Shelby and Rock Hill, and then we're barely holding on to the lower 40s. By the way, Charlotte, your low for the day is in the upper 30s. We're going to do this again on Sunday morning, so it's a comparable cold morning, but this will be the coldest at least for the next few days, for the rest of the work week for sure. Yesterday was the coldest day, 57 degrees for the afternoon. Even with all that sunshine that we had for a few to several hours to end the day, it didn't help us out that much. We only got to 57 degrees. Today we're going with 67, so a 10-degree warm-up. Here's my weather stat of the day. This is the second warmest March so far on record. Now this is through 24 days of data, so we're updating this each and every day. And with our highs that are about to surge, we are likely going to be challenging that number one spot. I don't think there's going to be much that's going to take us away, even for this weekend cool down, from at least the top 5 warmest Marches on record. Now, we're far from a record today. 67 degrees is exactly where we should be, so we're near normal, but we're about to reverse that. Typically for the end of March, the record high is either going to be in the mid to the upper 80s or the lower 90s. The lower 90s is still quite rare for this time of the season, but we now have a forecasted high of 88 degrees for this coming Friday, and then 85 is the record, so that's an easy smash. And that was set back in 1950. But what I think is really interesting is what this March has done for the history books. Now, so far, this March, we have had 3 days that have been 87 degrees. Now, check this out. This is the 10 hottest highs that we've had during the month of March. So the single day. Back in 1907, we hit 91 degrees. It's actually been only 4 times in the month of March here in Charlotte that we popped up to 90 degrees. It's actually only been 1 time that we've hit 88. So that record that I showed you is actually a substantial feat that we're going to do here, where we already have 3 days in the top 10 warmest in March history, and we're going to add a 4th, which is going to push one down to the number 11 spot, but it really just shows how substantially warm this month has been and where we're going overall. Now, one thing that can cool you down in a second is a rain chance, a cold front, but even the cold front that we have, sometimes drought feeds drought. We have too much dry air right now, and that dry air is not really helping us out. Also, the timing. We've been getting a lot of overnight batches, and that's where we have a better chance, or more of an early morning situation, so that doesn't help us give some of the big thunderstorm rains, which isn't always great because it flows off. But we have an isolated rain chance on Friday night heading into Saturday morning. I'll show you that here briefly, but boy, are we going to see an interesting forecast. Overall, those temperatures are going to be up, down, something you would expect to end March and head into April. 88 degrees for Friday, back to the 60s this weekend. Sunday, cold like this morning, before we're back to the 70s and 80s heading through the middle of next week. Check it out, back to 87 next Thursday. Okay, as we get closer and closer to 8 o'clock, it gets busier and busier. What's the new stat?
Oh, look at this. I want to show you a new accident that just happened minutes ago. Here's my map. You can already tell it's a bit overwhelmed this morning, but this one here is really going to delay you this morning if you take I-85 southbound. This is where we have stop-and-go traffic, specifically North Tryon Street, exit 42, backed up to Mallard Creek Church Road, about exit 46. So we're seeing it here on my map. Once we switch it over to a live camera look right around that area, cars are moving, lanes are moving, but they're moving very, very slowly. Did get a report that at one time 2 of the middle lanes were blocked off. I don't think it was specifically at this mile marker. We don't have a camera on that, but that's indicating that it is going to be a slow early morning commute if you're taking I-85 southbound. We'll keep you up to date with that. Another thing that's ongoing, this is I-77 southbound. Once you're approaching Remount Road, this one is improving a bit. I've been following it for at least the last 45 45 minutes, I would say. But finally, I do want to touch on this because it's never good to see a lot of red, and that's exactly what we have. For I-485, the inner loop right here, right at South Boulevard, we are seeing backups to Johnston Road. So exit 65 to 61. If you take that this morning, it's going to be slow, but lanes are moving. But at this time, it's at stop and go pace, so allow for an additional 10 minutes to get to where you need to be. Guys.
7:40 right now. New details emerging in the deadly runway collision at LaGuardia, and investigators are zeroing in on what may have gone wrong. That's next.
Time now, 7:42. Federal investigators are releasing new information about that deadly runway collision between an Air Canada jet and a fire truck at New York LaGuardia's airport.
And they are taking a close look at the number of potential factors in Sunday night's crash. CNN's Pete Muntean has more.
New details from investigators reveal the final moments before an Air Canada Express flight fatally slammed into an airport fire truck crossing the same runway. National Transportation Safety Board Chair Jennifer Homendy says just 2 people were working in the LaGuardia control tower at the time, with both starting their shifts about an hour before the crash. Investigators now say one controller was handling the active runways and airspace immediately surrounding the airport. The second controller, a supervisor, was also responsible for issuing route clearances to departing flights, an arrangement investigators say was not uncommon for that hour of the night.
That is in the standard operating procedures for LaGuardia. Our air traffic control team has stated this is a problem, that this is a concern for them for years.
But investigators still do not know which controller was specifically overseeing ground control, the movement of planes and vehicles on taxiways. Richard Kennington spent 25 years as an FAA air traffic controller.
LaGuardia is one of the most difficult because they have so much aircraft and so little real estate when compared to a Denver or a Kennedy or a DFW.
Adding to the complexity, investigators say controllers were already dealing with another emergency just before the crash. A United Airlines flight aborted its takeoff twice, prompting the response from airport firefighters.
2384 is declaring an emergency. The flight attendants in the back are feeling ill because of the odor.
The NTSB says that 1 minute and 3 seconds before the crash, interference garbled a radio call from the fire truck to the control tower. The truck radioed again just 20 seconds before the crash, and the LaGuardia Tower granted clearance to cross the runway. when the plane was just 100 feet above the ground. Just 9 seconds before the fatal collision, the tower told the fire truck to stop. The plane was 1 second from touching down.
Stop, truck one, stop. Stop, truck one, stop. Stop, truck one, stop.
The NTSB now says the fire truck was not equipped with a transponder, meaning ground collision warning systems in the tower did not alert controllers to the danger unfolding in front of them. A CNN review of anonymous safety reports from pilots showed growing concerns about conditions at LaGuardia. Before the crash, pilots filed at least a dozen reports warning of miscommunication, near misses, and increasing pressure on controllers. The pace of operations is building in LaGuardia. The controllers are pushing the line, one pilot wrote. On thunderstorm days, LGA is starting to feel like DCA did before the accident there. Please do something.
I think this was preventable, and we will get to the bottom of it and honor all those that were involved by reassuring that it doesn't happen again.
Pete Muntean reporting for us there. Canada's Prime Minister said Monday Canadian and U.S. officials are working closely together on the investigation into the collision and what happened.
A major milestone took flight Tuesday as United Airlines launched a new service connecting Lynchburg, Virginia to Washington, D.C. and Chicago. For the first time in 15 years, passengers flying out of Lynchburg Regional Airport on Tuesday had a choice in airline. A new United Airlines ticket counter was put to use as travelers boarded the inaugural flights. Excitement was clear as passengers for the first Chicago flight moved through the TSA checkpoint.
I was flying through Charlottesville on the way down here and saw that the United flight was coming back, and I'm very excited to be on that flight. It was just very difficult to try and travel in and out of here. So now this opens up like a whole nother world of possibilities for Lynchburg.
City leaders said the flight is more than just a new route. It's an open door to new opportunities for those traveling for business or pleasure. United Airlines is also unveiling a new seating option in its economy section. Instead of having 3 seats in a row, customers will feel like they're sitting or laying on a couch. Those flyers will get a mattress pad, blankets, and extra pillows to use. The option allows for more leg room and the ability to sleep and stretch out during long flights. The airline calls it United Relax Row. United plans to launch the new seating option next year. We're taking a live look at Uptown right now. And when we come back, Chris has your latest weather impact.
$7:49 right now on WCNC Plus. The start of the 2026 Atlantic hurricane season is about 3 months out now. But emergency planners are worried about losing access to a key tool that they use. The system known as HurEvac is used to help make critical decisions in things like evacuations. It's widely used by the National Weather Service and emergency managers for both planning and training. The issue stems from a lapse in federal contracts that has not been renewed quite yet. Chris, explain to us what this means.
It's devastating, being honest with you, because this is a direct tool that, as you mentioned, the National Weather Service uses, but then also emergency management to the point that they're able to prepare people with the changing conditions. So one of the biggest tools that HurEvac uses it's called Slosh. So what this is a new updated product that predicts storm surge. So it's able to create those maps. You've probably seen it where there's a lot of different blues and reds where it shows how high the storm surge is going to do, how hard it's going to be. It's actually one of the greatest advancements that we've had in storm surge forecasting. So it's not just letting you know when people are going to evacuate. They also let you know the data of what could be the impacts. We're potentially losing that. So by losing that product, we are now setting ourselves back. I literally just 24 hours ago was talking about what we lost. Losing another tool, I swear, we are moving backwards as far as meteorologists here with the National Weather Service. And again, I'm not being political here, but we keep on losing key elements that have really advanced so much. I remember when this officially came out 3 years ago, I was like, thank God this is going to save lives. And it has. So I really hope that contracts can be redone, because what it tells you is literally this type of data, showing you when storm surge is going to be up to the roofs of house that people need to be evacuated, when it's up to 12 to 20 feet. It's actually saved lives for storms like Ian, Ida, all those devastating ones because of the data that it comes. So I really hope that they can help this, because these are the type of tools that it's about meteorology, keeping people prepared for an ever-strengthening severe weather season, and then in this case, tropical weather season. So just my 2 cents there. The biggest loss that we're going to see here, besides people having the better advance as far as emergency management, is not having those detailed maps that really let you know if a storm surge could be like this, or if it could be like the bottom and not really a big deal. So it's just sad. We keep on losing products. Like one of my favorite models that I use, I can't use it anymore because it's not as effective, because we got rid of data centers that are associated with that. So I'm going to get off my soapbox. We still do a great job, because guess what? In life, you adapt. You figure out ways to do it, because guess what? 5 years ago, I could still be a great weathercaster with the tools that I had, and I have those. And there's other advancements that we're able to use, and you live and learn. And I've mentioned this before, history doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme, so pattern recognition is the key. And I've seen this one over and over again. Our next rain chance that we're going to see here is Friday night, heading into Saturday morning. It's more of a Friday night type of deal. This is a decaying line of severe storms, so we could have some thunder and lightning, especially north of I-40. This is late Friday evening, but as it moves its way to the south, it starts to weaken because we have more stable air mass in place. Still think you'd have some decent rain that comes with that, but other than that, that is all the rain that we have. Heading in the weekend will be dry, but much cooler in the 60s instead of the mid to the upper 80s that we had last weekend. All right, another look at traffic before the 7 o'clock hour ends to see that it's busy.
All right, 7:53 right now. Let's get an update on what's going on, getting you straight up to date. Want to let you know about a few important things. This here, our icon indicating that we're still seeing some backups with this accident. This is I-85 southbound right there at North Tryon Street. Still seeing some slow-moving action as we're looking towards Mallard Creek Church Road. I will say it looks better than it did about 10-15 minutes ago, but you can tell cars are still a little bit more jam-packed than they would be if there wasn't a crash. Another thing is this right here on I-77. This is impacting southbound lanes approaching a Remount Road, backed up to about Moorhead Street. Also seeing some progress there. This may now be the worst one, so I may need to start off my next traffic hit with this problem. This is I-485, the inner loop right at South Boulevard. We're backed up to Johnston Road. That's exit 61, so stop and go traffic right now on I-485 if you're traveling out towards Pineville. We'll have some more details on your full traffic report coming up here soon.
All right, thanks, Majestic. Today in women's history, we celebrate the 61st birthday of actress Sarah Jessica Parker. She's best known for her iconic role as Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City, a character who helped redefine how women's stories are told on television. Parker brought conversations about independence, relationship, and careers for women into the mainstream. Beyond acting, she's also been a producer and businesswoman, helping create more opportunities for women in entertainment. Her influence has made a lasting impact on pop culture and women's representation on screen. We're going to take a quick break right now, but keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Welcome everyone to a wonderful Wednesday overall. So it depends where you are. You might be seeing more blue sky or see more of a cloudy sky. This is a good example. The sky's going to be changing throughout the day, but hey, that's a great thing. Temperatures also already hit our low for the morning. Dropped down to 36 for you in Hickory and Rock Hill. 39 was our low in Charlotte. Now we begin the warm up, which is going to be much warmer than yesterday, about 10 degrees across the board as we're starting to shift the winds out of a warmer direction, out of the south, and that's going to bring us up to 67. We were 57 yesterday. We start off warmer tomorrow as well, 50 degrees, then the 60s, back to the 40s and 30s. What happened? Well, we're going to see another big up and down. Welcome to March, everyone, and also welcome to transition heading to April. Literally what you see on your screen is the last 7 days of March. We're almost done. 88 degrees will be a record on Friday before that cool down for the weekend. All right, Majestic, what do people need to know this morning?
Almost 8 o'clock this morning, and traffic's flowing all right. This is I-77 right there near Clanton, where conditions basically look like a typical morning, a little busy. One thing you do need to know is this accident here. This is I-485, the inner loop, right there at South Boulevard. We have stop-and-go traffic backed up to Johnston Road. We'll be covering everything you need to know on WCNC Plus until 9 a.m.
streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Megan Bragg, in for Lisa Washington.
This morning, folks in Mooresville are grieving the loss of a teenager who died in a golf cart accident earlier this week.
WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is live at ATH here in Lake Norman, where the young girl is being remembered and families are holding their loved ones a little closer this morning. Good morning, Richard.
Yeah, good morning to you, Megan. Good morning, Ben. Good Wednesday morning, everybody, here on the Plus. Basically here at this particular studio where that young girl went. They're very emotional, of course, sending out their condolences to the family, as is everyone who knew and came into contact with Julia Rooney. Now, the community of Mooresville still in shock after that tragic accident, claiming her life. Police say it happened Monday evening around 5:14 at the intersection of Swamp Rose Drive and Gold Star Lane. It involved a golf cart and several juveniles. Rooney, a student at Woodland Heights Middle School and a member of the ATA cheer here in Lake Norman, was the victim. She was critically injured and later died. Authorities have not released further details, as they say the investigation remains ongoing. Mooresville police say their thoughts are with the families affected during this difficult time. This loss is especially felt deeply across the community, where Julia is remembered as someone who made a meaningful impact on those around her. It's a heartbreaking loss for family, friends, and neighbors.
I saw her a couple of times. She was like on the neighborhood on that golf cart with a friend of her almost every afternoon, and it's like super sad.
I never really would have thought anything like that would have happened.
As a parent, I cannot even imagine what they're going through right now. Just be in constant supervision with our young kids.
And of course, the school district says they plan to have counselors available for students at both the elementary school where she recently attended and also the middle school where she currently is a student. When we have more information about funeral arrangements, we'll let you know. Again, police say this is an ongoing investigation. And as we get more information on that, we'll also give that to you. We're right here in Lake Norman. This is Richard Devane. We'll send it back to you.
Richard, thanks. Today, the man accused of a deadly stabbing in Southeast Charlotte is set to face a judge. Police say the man you're about to see right here, Drzan Sinanovich, is charged with first-degree murder in the death of Savo Sinanovich.
It happened Tuesday at a home near Sardis Road North and Monroe Road. A neighbor says a couple and their three children lived at the home. A man accused in a deadly hit and run will remain behind bars. Just yesterday, we told you Thomas Haynes was charged with second-degree murder in the crash that killed 23-year-old Sophie Kipple and left two others hurt. Haynes appeared in court for the first time Tuesday. Prosecutors arguing the crash was caused by a series of reckless choices behind the wheel. Haynes is accused of running a stop sign and crashing into the other vehicle and then leaving the scene. He's due back in court April 15th. For those planning to attend today's special meeting on the I-77 South Express Lane project, it's been canceled. The expansion plan has sparked controversy over its potential impact to historically black communities, specifically in West Charlotte. Right now, we're working to find out if it's being rescheduled. When we know more, we'll be sure to pass that along.
Uncertainty continues this morning with CMS's budget for next school year. District officials say that teacher pay remains a top priority, and they're asking for a 5% increase. They said all boils down to making sure students are getting a good education.
We cannot expect teachers to be fully focused on instruction if they're worried about whether they have enough money to live. If our goal is stability in schools and long-term gains in student achievement, we must ensure that teachers have the financial security and support they need. Investing in our people isn't just the right thing to do, it's the most impactful thing that we can do for students.
CMS officials have recommended a budget of more than $2 billion for next year. Nearly $700 million comes from the county. The CMS board still needs to approve the budget before county commissioners adopt it come June. In just hours, CMS Deputy Superintendent Dr. Melissa Faulknight will update families on program choice, school boundaries, and long-term district planning. You can weigh in at tonight's Superintendent's Parent Family Advisory Council meeting that starts at 5:30 at E.E. Waddell High School.
New this morning, a former Anson County youth basketball coach previously accused of human trafficking has pled guilty to a lesser charge. Jamalzio Birch pled guilty to one count of statutory sex offense with a child 15 or younger. As part of the agreement, prosecutors dismissed charges of human trafficking of a child and multiple counts of indecent liberties with a child. Birch was sentenced to 180 to 276 months behind bars. A positive update in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. NCDOT says it's set to open US 64 this weekend. That's ahead of schedule. The route into Bat Cave, Chimney Rock, and surrounding communities was left devastated by Helene. 64 had been restricted to local traffic only as repairs were underway. Engineers anticipate having the road fully open to traffic by Memorial Day.
Welcome everybody to a warmer day. So plain and simple, as we are working our way through today, heading into the evening, we are having winds out of the west and southwest. This is the warmer direction. Once you're out of the northwest and the north and the northeast, that filters in some cooler air. So that's why we're a lot warmer today. And it's also blowing in some cloud cover. At times you're going to see those beautiful Carolina blues. At other times, some more streakier clouds as you're seeing off into the distance here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But temperatures right now are on the slow incline up to the 50s and then eventually getting into the 60s. Look where we've been. Which one of these days don't go together? 57 yesterday? Come on. We were 85 the day before, the lower 80s the day before Sunday. But yeah, we've had a lot of these ups and downs. That's been the crazy thing. And it's not unusual for March, but I have to say, this is the first time since I've been here in Charlotte, and I've been here for 8 years now, that I've seen this big of a spike where we've officially hit 87 degrees 3 times this March. And we're about to do it again, or maybe even 1 degree warmer. But at least we're starting the upper climb, 67 degrees for today. And then after that, we're going to see a big rise. I want to get to the 7-day forecast before I get to our rain chances. Look where we're going. 80 degrees tomorrow, 88 degrees will be a record high for this coming Friday, but then we have a cold front that moves through. So anytime you see temperatures chopped off by 20 degrees, most likely that was a cold front or something extreme, but at least we'll have the sunshine after that. Usually it's not the morning after, but the morning after that we hit our absolute bottom for a temperature behind a strong cold front. That's why it's 37 degrees for the coldest morning on Sunday. It's going to be even a couple degrees colder than what we had this morning. So if you haven't been out yet this morning, definitely the heavier jacket at first, but then sunshine is going to make us feel much better going forward. And then we have 75 to 81 degrees and eventually the mid to the upper 80s through the middle of next week on Wednesday and Thursday. Another kick down for our temperatures, but not as big of a cool down. As I mentioned, our rain chances are not really all that vast in the near term. We only have an isolated chance on Friday, and then after that, check this out. This is pitiful. These are daytime rain chances. By the way, quick weather IQ, we have daytime rain chances and then we have nighttime rain chances. So from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., this is known as a nighttime overnight rain chance. Well, that's the only one that we have over the next 7 days. And here's what it looks like. I'm actually here off screen to slow it down for you. What you're looking at right now is a line of decaying thunderstorms. So what it's going to do is I think you're still going to have some decent thunderstorms maybe from about 8 to midnight, but then watch. It slowly starts to fizzle out, seeing mainly just a rain event through the early morning hours, and then most likely when you're waking up on your Saturday morning, it's clearing out. But it could be a cloudy day overall. Really, our next best rain chance, as I mentioned, not until day 10 of the forecast. So once we get that drought monitor update on Thursday and the Thursday after that, it's not going to be good news. We'll hopefully have some good news in the traffic department, but I see a lot of icons.
It is 8:08. It's a busy time of the morning. So here we go. Let's go over a few important things you'll want to know about. This one here, I-485, still the inner loop really being highly impacted from this crash here. It's right at South Boulevard, exit 65. We are seeing delays to Johnston Road. That's exit 61. So if you take I-485, bottom line, you need to add in a few extra minutes to get to where you need to be. It's moving. It's just moving really slowly. Still, we're sticking to I-485, the inner loop at Lawyers Road. That's exit 47 out by Mint Hill. An additional crash is slowing folks down for their morning commute. Again, taking I-485, mainly the southern half of that. It is going to be busy out there. This is I-77, mile marker 7 near Clanton. Southbound lanes have been really impacted all morning long, especially from about 6:30 until this point, as this crash really slowed folks down, and we're still seeing the lingering impacts of that. Coming up in just a few minutes, minutes, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what's going on I-77 and how much longer we could see a bit of a delay. Ben.
Majestic, thanks. As we head to break, here's an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey everybody, you know here at ShopTVDeals.com, we love to bring you products that can make a huge difference in your life, and today we definitely have one of those kind of deals. Listen to this. We all know these days you get the big screen in your car, it shows you what's going on behind you as you reverse. But check this out, the Minolta dash cam takes that kind of protection to a whole new level. You have this front camera right here that gives you a 130-degree view of the road and a view inside the car as well. I just want to show you the view that you get on the dash cam here. Take a look at that. Really sharp, really high resolution, crystal clear image. There are features I love about this camera. Number one, infrared lights give you that inside view. It illuminates the inside of the car. Also, a special sensor comes on. Even when the car is parked, the cameras will roll if someone tries to break in or dings you in the shopping mall parking lot. How many times has that happened? It really is great for rideshare drivers and just everyday people. If something happens to you in the car, police these days ask for dash cam video. Insurance companies want it. It helps you with other drivers. So it really is about protecting you in case anything goes wrong with the car. You have it all here, that kind of footage. So let's be honest, you really can't put a price on protection, and we have a really, really great deal for you today. You get this entire camera system for 41% off. That is a great, great deal here. So for more information, just scan the QR code there at the bottom of your screen or check us out at ShopTVDeals.com.
Approaching 8:14 right now on WCNC Plus. The national average for gas this morning is hovering about $4 a gallon. That's according to Gas Buddy. By the way, that is the highest it has been in about 4 years. John Lawrence reports it could be a while before we see a downward trend.
Just hit $60, so it is what it is. I guess at this point, you got to do what you got to do.
The cost of filling up keeps going up due to the U.S.'s war with Iran.
Trump ran on a campaign side. I'm going to end endless wars. We've got to invest in America, not on these endless wars. And he went back on his word.
President Donald Trump says he believes the U.S. and Iran will come to terms on an agreement that will end the conflict.
We have a number of people doing it, and the other side, I can tell you, they'd like to make a deal. And who wouldn't if you were there?
The war with Tehran has disrupted tanker traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, choking off about 20% of the world's oil supply.
I think they're going to start playing hardball
And that escalates the risk that this could be dragged on for a longer period of time, and that consumers, through higher gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel prices, are going to have a little bit of sticker shock that could linger.
Possibly lingering for people as they plan their summer vacations.
Travel has been a top priority for a lot of travelers just the past couple of years. And that has been, pretty notable with going somewhere that is a popular destination. You may be paying, slightly higher costs to get down there.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
According to AAA, the current natural gas price average is right at $3.98. Here in North Carolina, as you see, it's $3.78. In South Carolina, $3.68.
Tax refunds are up this year for many Americans, but rising costs tied to global conflict could quickly eat into that extra cash. New Internal Revenue Service data shows the average refund is up to $36 to $23, up nearly 11% from last year. Experts say those higher fuel costs could impact everything from groceries to travel, forcing families to rethink how they spend the refunds.
It's going to be a tricky situation for a lot of people, especially anybody who might have, mentally started to plan for where this money's going to go. There will be other downstream impacts of higher prices for diesel, shipping costs, airplane tickets. Those are all going up.
Analysts warn if high energy prices continue, that refund boost may not stretch as far as many had hoped.
8:16 right now on WCNC Plus live pictures right now. I-77 southbound lanes slow going this morning. Majestic standing by. She has a look at your traffic impacts next.
Time now 8:19. Right now, South Carolina is no longer under a red flag fire alert. However, as you can see from this map right here, there is still a high fire danger risk across the area. That warning comes just days after the one-year anniversary of the Table Rock State Park fire in Pickens County. The fire crew grew to be the largest in recent South Carolina history. Emergency Management Director Billy Gibson says fire crews work 12-hour shifts, sometimes longer, for a couple weeks to keep the fire from spreading to nearby neighborhoods.
But throughout all that, we had very little property damage. We didn't lose any homes. And here's the biggest one. We didn't have any major injuries, and nobody died as a result of this fire. We had a very few minor injuries to some of our responders, but the good Lord just looking out for us.
The red flag fire alert means burning outdoors is strongly discouraged when weather conditions present an elevated risk of wildfires. March is the height of the forest fire season in the Carolinas. And Chris, what makes March the height of fire season?
It's March and April, and one word, Megan: wind. It's actually the windiest months are March and April. So check this out. So what you see in the little white box there, that is the average wind speed that we have pretty much per day during that month. And as you see, it gets higher and higher and higher. But specifically, March now beats April by only 0.1 miles per hour, which, by the way, is a shift in recent years. And this data dates all the way back to 1939. We have actually multiple benchmarks for records, by the way. General Charlotte goes back to 1879, 1939 for a lot of data like this, and then a lot of tornado data, and even the National Hurricane Center goes back to 1950. So those are always kind of consistent dates that we go back to. But plain and simple, I was getting off track. It's March and April that are usually the windiest, and so that's number one. But also number two, February is also one of the drier months that we typically have going forward. As far as our fire danger risk, being honest with you, South Carolina may be a little bit more problematic, but the biggest issue we have is how dry it's been. But the winds really aren't in the wildfire threat favor. Yesterday was a little bit breezier, so that's the reason why you actually had that red flag warning. Now, we're still way too dry, don't get me wrong, but see this map that is actually produced by the NC State Climate Office. I color in the counties. I just kind of go back what they're saying. Truly, I would not put us in the red. This was yesterday, just because the winds are much tamer today. I think that it is a much better forecast in our favor. So here, let me actually show you what the winds are going to be today. Nothing compared to yesterday or even the day before. It was much windier. We don't really even have that many frequent gusts. I think you still could have a stray one up to 15, but yeah, the winds are a little bit too light for what we typically see. And going forward, though, just letting you know, this is going to be a constant. Up and down winds. At times you're going to have even a sunny day that those winds are going to be gusting up to 30 to 35 miles per hour. That's just not going to be over the next couple. I'm going to make a hard shift over to a different stat just because we're getting pretty close to this. We are now officially tonight right around the first quarter moon. Now soon we're going to be on the waxing gibbous. And what that is wax on, wane off. When you're going onto a full moon, it's waxing. When you're coming off, it's waning. Once you get to the full moon, that's actually a huge benchmark. And the reason why, that's what determines Easter. That's why it fluctuates so much. So here's the general rule. Check box number one, it has to be spring. We already did that. Then it's celebrated on the first Sunday following the first spring full moon. That first spring full moon officially is April 1st. The following Sunday is April 5th. That's the reason why April 5th is Easter this year. Next year, it's actually going to be earlier on March 28th. All right, let's get over to Majestic for another look at our morning commute.
All right, good morning, everyone. If you're just waking up and turning on the stream, we've been watching I-77 specifically. This is just very slow-moving traffic. This is mile marker 7 out near Clanton. I just double-checked to see if there was a new crash, and nothing's been reported yet. We did have one a little bit earlier, so it's probably still congested because of that. Trying to clear up, and again, it's just before 8:30 this morning, so we're still in prime time, high traffic hour. What we're looking at here is I-485. It's the inner loop at South Boulevard. That's exit 65. We're seeing those backups to Johnston Road. I think this is going to be a bigger delay for you. So exit 61 to 65, inner loop of 485. That's where it is slow moving because of an ongoing accident. Still not too far away from that. Still on I-485 at the inner loop by Mint Hill. This is at Lawyers Road specifically. So exit 47, and we're seeing those delays to exit 44. So it's not stop and go traffic. Again, the inner loop being highly impacted by that, mostly impacted, but we're not seeing significant delays building up quite yet. Guys.
Thanks. Hey, we'd like to wish happy birthday, 79th birthday to Elton John, one of the most influential musicians of all time, known for iconic hits like Rocket Man, Tiny Dancer. Over the decades, his music has shaped pop culture, inspired generations of artists. Of course, beyond music, he also had a big impact through his work in AIDS awareness and charities. His legacy continues to shine both on and off the stage. All right, live pictures right now over Uptown. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus. We're back after this.
Good morning, everybody. Well, 41 degrees is where we're at right now, 39 in Rock Hill. We've already hit a low for the morning, so now we're turning things up. Now, it depends where you are. Some of us dealing with some blue sky and some clouds, others dealing with some clouds and some blue sky. It is going to be forever changing throughout the day. 37 degrees right now in Hickory, some still freezing, such as Salisbury and Albemarle, but that will change. 67 is our high today across the greater Charlotte area. Guess what our normal is? Boom, we are spot on for a normal day, mixing with sunshine and cloud cover throughout the day. And then overnight tonight is going to be a milder one, 50 degrees, but we're going to get just as cold by Sunday. Look at that big drop. But let's focus in on the warmer good for now. We're 80 degrees by tomorrow, 88. That's a record day on Friday. Next rain chances overnight Friday into Saturday morning. We will be cooler this weekend, but then right back to the 70s, 80s next week. Majestic, what's going on? It's been a busy morning for you.
Look at all of these icons that are continuing to pop up. That means we got some problems out there out on those area roadways. And remember, we're over on WCNC Plus covering all of these incidents for you until 9 o'clock this morning. This is one important one, though. Really, the biggest backup right now is I-45 inner loop right there at South Boulevard. Another crash on I-485, the inner loop again out by Lawyers Road. So take it easy and drive safe.
Thank you so much for joining us live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Megan Bragg in for Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson.
Well, right now a search is underway for a missing woman in Lincoln County. Take a look at your screen right now. Police say Shenanda Rogers was last seen in Lincolnton near Hoffman Road last Wednesday. According to her mother, she suffers from several ailments. If you see her, you're asked to call 911. 2 months after a deadly shooting in East Charlotte, a suspect is now behind bars. 22-year-old Angel Fernandez is charged with first-degree murder in the death of Lenvin Gomez Morales. Investigators say a break in a separate case led to evidence that connected Fernandez to the January 24th shooting. Fernandez is being held without bond and also has an ICE detainer. His next court date is April 14th.
This morning, the search continues for a kidnapping suspect in Chesterfield County. We first brought you this as breaking news right here on WCNC Plus yesterday. Take a look at your screen. Deputies say this man, Kendrick Terry, kidnapped the woman from a home on Cleveland Street in Cheraw. Good news is deputies found that woman. She's safe right now. Terry last seen in a black shirt, blue shorts, and a blue do-rag. Investigators believe he's driving this white GMC Terrain. If you see him, call police.
It's Red Cross Giving Day. When emergencies happen, the road ahead can seem daunting. And for 140 years, the American Red Cross has been there to help. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards joins us live from the Charlotte Area Red Cross in Dilworth. Good morning, Destiny.
Good morning. Yeah, when disasters happen, whether it's a house fire, a storm, or any kind of medical emergency, the American Red Cross is often one of the first organizations to be there on the ground running. And today they're asking for your help. Now, there are a couple ways that you can help out on this giving day, and one of those is by making a monetary donation. This goes directly toward providing shelter, food, and emergency care for families in crisis. You can also donate blood. The Red Cross has expanded its hours at this location in Charlotte this year with appointments available most days of the week. And if you want to make an even bigger impact, you can sign up to volunteer. The Charlotte Area Red Cross shared a story recently online about volunteer Jackie Simpson, who was picked up by fire crews to get to a shelter during the ice storm when roads were too dangerous for travel. She was one of several volunteers who stepped up during that time, providing warmth, food, and a safe place for people to stay, including many experiencing homelessness, some arriving in the middle of the night looking for help. And that's what today is all about. We see the American Red Cross doing all of these different things, but they say even just a little bit of donation. I believe you can donate $10 at minimum. You can donate blood. You can donate your time. Again, as a volunteer, they say all of that makes even a little bit of a difference, or just a little bit makes a big difference in helping them do what they can to help people in need. I'll send it back to you guys live here from Dilworth.
Destiny, thanks for a reminder. You can scan that QR code right there on your screen to learn more about Giving Day and how you can help.
A rezoning decision in East Charlotte is drawing pushback from those who live in the area. City Council approved plans for a new affordable housing project behind Calvary Church of the Nazarene on North Sharon Amity Road. Some neighbors say they are worried about how quickly the area is developing as it struggles to attract basic needs.
It will be the eighth development, either new build, some aren't even ready yet, or NOAA's receiving publicly subsidized dollars to support it within a mile radius of this current planned site. Last that I understood, not having success identifying a grocer because the income level of the area is still too low.
The project is expected to bring 125 senior housing units and 11 townhomes. Well, today, Mecklenburg County leaders will highlight progress and future plans at the State of the County address. Commission Chair Mark Jarrell will speak at 10 a.m. at the Government Center in Charlotte. He's expected to review key accomplishments from the past year and outline challenges and opportunities ahead.
North Carolina Senate Leader Phil Berger is conceding his Republican primary race. Multiple recounts showed he lost his race by just 23 votes to Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page. In a statement, Berger says in part that the voters have spoken and that he remains committed to working with his colleagues in the short legislative session that starts in April. Berger served in the state Senate since 2001. Sheriff Page responded saying in part, quote, "I'm grateful for his years of service to our state, and I thank him for wishing me the best moving forward."
Turning now to some major news out of men's college hoops. Hubert Davis is out as head coach at North Carolina. It comes days after Carolina's collapse against VCU in the first round of the NCAA tournament. The school confirmed the change in leadership yesterday. Davis was with the Tar Heels for 5 seasons and leaves with a record of 125-54. In a statement posted on Instagram last night, Davis says his desire was to continue to coach at UNC. He went on to say, quote, "I'm very proud of what we were able to accomplish together. My goal is to coach again in the very near future." Carolina will reportedly pay about $5 million to buy him out. Winthrop University is rolling out a bold new look and message as part of its United in Excellence plan. Over the past year, the school worked with a marketing agency to create a fresh look and message to attract students. This new look will be officially unveiled during a campus-wide presentation at Winthrop today at 11:30 a.m. School leaders say this is an important step forward. People who attend will also get to see new materials and take home some free swag.
Okay, we have some pretty thick clouds from place to place, but still a gorgeous day. I like these days that you're gonna have some sun, some intermittent clouds. Now, the sun's gonna make you feel a lot warmer, so I wish we had more sun on a cooler day like today. We're at 41 degrees right now in Charlotte, 37 in Hickory. The sun's angle is so low, so it's not really helping us out. But once you get to the late morning, early to mid-afternoon, that's where it's gonna be most beneficial. But hey, 10-degree bump, that's going to be nice. And especially after how cold we started, this has been anywhere from 5 to 20 degrees colder from place to place. Some of us were a little bit warmer because of the cloud cover yesterday. Charlotte was about 5 degrees colder compared to just a day ago. Quick stat, though, officially through 24 days, since today is March 25th, so the date is not in for this yet, we are the second warmest March on record. It has been incredibly warm recently. We have a lot of big spikes, and the way things are trending, I don't really see us falling too much further down this list. Even with the cool down that we're potentially going to have into the weekend, it is still going to be legendarily warm, and that's exactly what 2026 has been. The most epic March on record was 1907. None of us remember that. But the reason why I say that is if you look at this top 10 hottest highs, so that means just the hottest days ever recorded in March, dating back to 1879, 1907 had the first, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth hottest temperatures. 2026 is in the running because look at this. We've now had 3 87s, which is now in the top 10. And I have a forecast high of 88 degrees this coming Friday, which is an easy smash. It's going to be a record. But going forward, just letting you know, there is a solid chance that this even could take over the #1 spot because our swings are absolutely well above average. The average high for this day in climatology is 67. And as you can see, we're matching that today. We're 80, 88, over 20 degrees above that by your Friday. And then we will see a little bit of a cool down, but it's not too far below that mercury, and also our lows are epically warm as well. We're actually closer to record warm lows compared to where we should be, typically rocking the lower to the mid 40s across our area this time of year. We only have one big chill, and it's just like this morning, many of us dropping down to the mid to the upper 30s, some of us with freezing temperatures. So if you have some of those plants that are going to be sensitive to freezing temperatures, just keep that in mind heading into Sunday morning. After that, a lot of warm mornings on the way to end March and begin April. Majestic?
It's beautiful outside. Take a look at this. I-85 here near Graham. Nice dry area roadway. Still a little bit cold though, so grab the jacket as you're heading out the door this morning. Traffic seems to be flowing just fine there as we're looking at I-85, but once we look at my map, you can tell we have a lot of issues that are ongoing. Now that we're nearing that 9 o'clock hour, things still are not slowing down. This here is Old Statesfield Road at I-485, seeing some delays coming in all directions there. And then I-85 southbound right here, North Tryon Street, right at Mallard Creek Church Road. I've been following this one for a while. You can still see some of that yellow there. Earlier it was at the red, so yellow means that we're making progress, but it's still not perfect. On I-485, the outer loop here at I-77, exit 67, a new crash was just reported, seeing some backups on South Tryon from there. And then this is the last one I want to give you an update on. Westinghouse Boulevard, so just south of I-485, east of South Tryon Street. This is where a new crash just happened. I'm seeing that yellow mainly impacting the northbound lanes there, so that may add in just a few extra minutes for the morning commute. Guys.
8:40 on the dot. Cursive making a comeback in classrooms. See why educators think it's important to have.
Time now, 8:42. First Lady Melania Trump kicked off the inaugural meeting of the Fostering the Future Together Global Coalition Summit Tuesday. The two-day summit aims to empower children through education and technology and brings together leaders from 45 nations, including France, Ukraine, Nigeria, and Israel, as well as technology companies including Google, OpenAI, and Microsoft.
Our coalition's mission is to empower children by providing greater access to technology and education. This is a historic moment in time. Our key driver, to cultivate the skills young people need to be successful in this rapidly evolving world.
According to the White House, it was the first time in history that a U.S. First Lady is hosting representatives from 45 nations at the White House in a single day.
Colleges across the country turning to oral exams as a new way to test students in the age of AI. Professors say written assignments are becoming less reliable, with some students submitting perfect work they simply can't explain. ChatGPT and other similar tools are pushing schools to rethink how they measure learning. Instead, students are being asked to explain their answers out loud to prove they actually understand the material. Experts say the shift may help improve critical thinking, even if it feels a bit more stressful for students. Cursive writing making a comeback in some parts. In Pennsylvania, a new state law will require schools to teach it, bringing a traditional skill back into focus.
Reporter Belly Faye takes a look at why educators and parents say it still matters.
You got it. Good job.
At the Erickson home, cursive is already part of the daily routine. Short lessons a few times a week focused on practice and precision.
I started cursive when my daughter was in second grade, and we do it a few times a week.
It's a hands-on approach rooted in patience and purpose.
For generations, we've used cursive, so I feel like it's a great a way to connect with previous generations.
Pennsylvania schools will be required to bring cursive back into the classroom. Districts are being advised to begin implementing lessons as early as April of 2026, with full plans expected in place by the 2026-2027 school year.
We're definitely going to have to move forward with embedding it so that it is a mandatory thing.
Research shows cursive writing helps build neural pathways tied to memory, hand-eye coordination, and fine motor skills, while also improving the flow of thoughts by reducing stops between letters.
Over and over and over again.
From early scribbling as toddlers to structured writing in elementary school, experts say those small hand movements play a big role in brain development.
The research has shown that cognitively, it's really good for younger kids' brains.
And beyond development, there's a practical reason to keep cursive alive.
When I hear that some kids aren't able to read cursive, I think, oh no, we need to make sure that we still use cursive so that they can read old historical documents too.
As schools prepare to roll out the requirement, educators are working to fit it into already full lesson plans.
As teachers, it's always one more thing we're adding to them, so it's really important that we figure out where it would best fit so that we're not just adding it on top of everything else.
And I know what you're thinking, Ben, what about North Carolina? Well, North Carolina among the 25 states that still require kids to learn cursive.
The Back to Basics bill, enforced back in 2013, ensures students can create readable cursive documents by the end of 5th grade.
When was the last time you wrote a uppercase cursive G?
I know, I was just trying to do it. I haven't in years and years and years. What about you?
Yeah. Although, what is your handwriting cursive, or because mine is sort of like block letters? So
yeah, my signature's in cursive, but that's pretty much it. What about you, Chris?
How's your cursive mastery?
No, it's awful.
Yeah.
Like honestly, my signature has gone downhill, and then like you said, the uppercase has just confused me.
Right. Same.
Yeah.
But I do see the value, and I do see what.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. Yep.
Well, in the school spirit, of course, we have to have a brain teaser. How well do you know state abbreviations? Okay, which of these words cannot be formed using U.S. state abbreviations? Coin, hail, lame, pain. So for example, North Carolina's NC, now that couldn't form a word. So which one again cannot form a word using U.S. state abbreviations? The answer coming up after the break.
Hi, this is Story Sprinkle. It's Wednesday, time for today's Tiny Town, and the Tiny Town is Turkey, North Carolina, just a bit south of Goldsboro, to the east of Fayetteville. Turkey, North Carolina, Population 213. It's over in Sampson County, and the area is less than a square mile. And yes, Turkey does have a post office. Now, it's not famous for turkey. It's famous for Elizabeth's pecans. Everybody who's been there loves it. They have everything pecan over in Turkey, North Carolina. That's today's Tiny Town. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
Okay, all right, we've been thinking about this over the break.
We have.
Which of these words cannot be formed using U.S. state abbreviations? So, for example, you have two letters in the abbreviation, putting those together, which one can it not be? Can it be coin, hail, lame, and pain? All right, our anchors, what has been your thought process so far?
So
we're between.
These all look right, but I
Right.
guess
Should we just do it?
Is
it? Should we do it? Should I do it? C.
so the only other one would be B.
Right.
And I'm second guessing Hawaii. Maybe it's HI rather than HA.
Okay, it is either B or C. I'll give you that. So you have it narrowed down. It's B or C. Which one?
Gosh.
Maybe I think maybe Hawaii.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
Okay,
not
B.
right.
Let's do B.
Good job at the buzzer.
Change it at the buzzer. Okay.
No, you are correct. It is Louisiana and ME is Maine.
Maine. Okay.
And then Hawaii is HI. So Ben, good job at the buzzer. That's what I'm talking about.
That took me a few minutes.
It took me a few minutes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also it took me, I immediately came up with like two options, and then coming up the last one was tough, so I was able to get
That was a good one. I like
That
that.
was
All
good.
right.
That was
Yeah.
good.
I wanted to make you think, but I'm so proud of you two. You get 1 life point. That's what we give away here. So that was fantastic. Oh man, we'll be back tomorrow with another trivia question. Thanks for joining us on WCNC Plus. All right, that was a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys. Okay, let's get to our rain chances. Before we were talking about the big swings that we're seeing, and it's a cold front that most often will be your best chance for some sort of rain. Well, that's exactly what's going to happen, but it's not as much as you would think. Before, it was looking like, hey, this is more of a Friday evening, or it could even arrive during Friday afternoon. No, we're almost really seeing a definitive and a good agreement that this is going to be an overnight event, which is not great for widespread rain. But if you look at our daily rain chances, which by the National Weather Service categorizes from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., we have goose eggs, flatline, whole lot of nothing, now through next Tuesday and Wednesday. But then we start to see some signs of rain by day 2 of April and day 3. So that'd be the following Thursday and Friday. We're waiting all that long, and that means for our next drought monitor update that officially comes tomorrow, that's not good because we haven't had a lot of rain over the last week. And then the other one that is factored in next Thursday, that's going to be even worse. I think we're getting deeper and deeper into that extreme category, so we desperately need the rain. Here's your only rain chance. This is what it looks like. Now, we are seeing a sign that there could maybe be some sprinkles or a very light stray rain shower during the evening hours. Now, I have seen a little bit of a shift of this that started to speed it up. So any evening plans you have on Friday, just note it will be a possibility to roll through, but by 6 o'clock, it's going to be here. So really anywhere from Friday evening through the overnight hours and the early morning hours of Saturday, that's our next rain chance. After that, we are clearing out for the weekend. Okay, our final look at our morning commute. Hopefully it's better than it has been.
All right, here we go. Good morning, everyone. At least it's beautiful outside. It's a little cold, so as you're heading out for the morning commute, grab that heavy jacket. We're waking up still to those low 40-degree temperatures if you're just joining us. This is I-485 right here near Mount Holly Road. Not seeing any big issues there, but it's been a busy morning. You can tell still by just looking at my map here. Here's a new crash, Old Statesfield Road at I-485. Yellow still popping up there, meaning we have some medium delays. Once we're heading to the south, we've been talking about I-85, that crash there at North Tryon Street. It is now cleared, so making progress there. But still, 485, the outer loop at I-77, really from South Tryon Street, that is still ongoing, but at least we don't have that red any longer. Another crash is Westinghouse Boulevard east of South Tryon Street. That's just south of 485. I'm mainly seeing yellow for those inbound lanes, so more of those northbound lanes being impacted. And then still right here, 485 still continuing to follow that crash there. Guys.
All right, thanks, Majestic. Today in women's history, we celebrate the 92nd birthday of Gloria Steinem. She is a journalist and activist who became a leading voice in the modern women's rights movement. Steinem co-founded Miss Magazine and helped bring national attention to issues like equal pay, reproductive rights and gender equality. She spent decades organizing, speaking out, and pushing for social change across the country. Her work helped reshape opportunities for women and continues to influence activism today.
All right, we're going to take a quick break right here. Coming up next here on WCNC Plus, our own Nick Sturdivant is going to be taking over the top of the hour from our live Impact studio. He's going to have a doctor on with Novant Health to talk about spring allergies. Perhaps you're suffering at this point. That's coming your way in just about 5 minutes right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good day, everybody. Check this out. It depends where you are. Sunny skies over here in Lake Norman. Meanwhile, through our Dallas camera, you're seeing a mix of sun and clouds. It's cloudier over here in Monroe. This is the way the day is going to look. 1 hour could look like this, another hour looks like this, another one looks like this. So literally when I say a mix of clouds and sunshine, this is a pure definition today. Right now we're at 41 degrees in Charlotte, 36 around Lincolnton. We are now starting our rise, and you'll see temperatures quickly rising up into the mid 60s. At least I have a high of 67 degrees for today, where our extended forecast, Shamrock Gardens Elementary School students snuck in here. This wanted a representation, but for our extended forecast, we're looking at the 80-degree point by tomorrow, and then 88 degrees for your Friday. Majestic, I'll move right along. See, look at those wonderful kids wanted to sneak in here.
Shout out to them. Hope they have a good school day. All right, let's get to it. Good morning, everyone. I want to let you know about a crash right here. I-77 mile marker 8. This is out near Remount. Southbound lanes are just moving slower than they typically would be if there wasn't a crash. Still tons of ongoing wrecks. Here's the one that I'm really watching for you. I-77 southbound as you're approaching Remount Road, and then it's backed up to I-85, so exit 13. That is going to be a slow morning commute. Take it easy and drive safe.